Supernatural Stories.
I feel like the Avengers are gonna pop up right now. This one is really crazy. Got pretty excited. In 1602, there was a woman named Maria Agreda. Her entire life dedicated to serving God. She was known as a woman of prayer, a woman who was always helping the need. She was constant in her service towards God. But between 1621 and 1631, between 19 to 29 years of age, she had biolocated over 500 times. Bilocated. I don't know why I keep saying bilocated. She had
500 times. Wow.
500 times. And she experienced a lot of ecstasy, stuff that we mentioned before.
Yeah.
So it was more than 500 times. So she bilocated more than 500 times in the North American areas. And airplanes didn't exist till the 1900s, 1901 or 19 somewhere around there, 1930 something. But this happened in the 1600s, 1621, 1631. So she was known to bilocate, and she preached in Texas, in New Mexico, and even in Western Arizona. Because one day, as she was praying, she had an encounter with God. And she was saying that she would see people that she was evangelizing to, Indians, and over there it's those parts of the world, country there, it's filled with a lot of Indians. So she always saw herself through visions preaching to people that nobody else would want to preach to. So between the age of 19 and 29, 500 times, she always bilocated and preached to all these people.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's places where she never flew. Airplanes didn't exist. But she appeared to Jumano Indians. That's a tribe over there. Jumando Indians, and she always preached them about repentance and serving the Lord. 500 times, more than 500 times.
I think that's going to become more commonplace.
Yeah.
Because as persecution increases, what we just talked about, there's going to be a point where they're no longer going to allow Christians to travel. But if we bilocate, they can't place their hands on us. Because we're going to be traveling from place to place.
And the crazy thing? She lived in Spain.
Oh, she lived in Spain.
And she bilocated to New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas.
Wow.
500 times. 500 times. And it wasn't through ships or anything like that, or airplanes. From Spain, God just pretty much grabbed her and put her in another place.
Like
500
Ezekiel.
times. Yeah.
Ezekiel says that he got grabbed by his hair, taken to Jerusalem. So imagine getting grabbed by your hair and getting taken to Jerusalem.
That's crazy.
That's true. That's a reality. I think that's going to increase. That's going to be a more common reality. I think the prophet was named Paul Jackson. I think his name was. I think, if I'm not mistaken. But he gave a testimony one time that he was sick in bed, and he was praying to God, telling him to heal him. And he had been sick for like a long time. And so that he was laying in bed, all of a sudden, there manifested a short man there. And he looked like he was like from Mexican or Hispanic descent. And the guy came up to him, laid his hands on him, and started praying for him. He thought it was an angel at first. He's like, wow, an angel that looks like Hispanic. Angels can look whatever.
Yeah.
And he prayed for him, and then after he had prayed for him, he got healed instantaneously. And then he disappeared again.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, he was praying to God. He's like, Lord, thank you for sending your angel to come and heal me. And then God told him, oh, that wasn't an angel. That was one of my servants that was hungry and asking for me to use him. And I used him because he lives in a remote place in a Latin country where not many people know about. And because he can't travel or anything, he just asked me to help him or asked me to use him. And so I took him and brought him here to pray for you.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's things that actually, I believe it. It's something that I want to experience.
Yeah, you can experience.
Yeah.
And that the way that you begin to experience it is that at first you think you're just dreaming.
Yeah.
But little by little, the dream, you become more aware that it's not just a dream.
Right.
So I tell people, you dreamt, because some people have told me that they dreamt that they've been like in other places, like in praying and stuff. I'm like, you weren't just dreaming, you probably were there. So it begins with like a slight dream state,
right?
And then eventually you become more aware of the truth of that, and you actually physically realize that you're there.
Wow. One day I had a dream. I believe I probably shared it with you on a Sunday, where there was a guy that was demon possessed. And I mean, he was scratching himself, he was demon possessed, and God used me in the dream to deliver that person.
Wow.
And he got delivered, and I saw the whole deliverance in the dream. And at the end, he's like, "Thank you. I don't know who you are, and I don't know where you came from."
Oh my!
And this is what he said to me: "I am completely delivered and set free." And I woke up.
It's very possible that you were there.
And it's a guy. He was a Hispanic guy. I never seen him in my entire life. I don't ever remember meeting this guy.
Yeah.
But the dream felt so real. The deliverance, the demonic presence in the dream, and even the presence of God felt so real.
Yeah.
So it could possibly be that
that's
maybe
real. That's real. That's 100% real. I mean, you see in the Bible where it says that the Apostle Paul had a dream where he saw a man from Macedonia in his dream. Tell him, come to Macedonia. Wow. So that man appeared in his dream.
Wow. So maybe
I was speaking to someone yesterday or 2 days ago, and they went into the store, and there was this lady that came up to her and told her if she can give her a ride, but she felt like an evil presence, and she didn't feel peace to give this person a ride. So she told her, "You know what, I can't really give you a ride right now, but I can help you to get someone to help you get a ride." And then she said, and God bless you, I can help you, but God bless you. And then the person said, "Yeah, may God bless you, and let a Christian actually appear so he can take me."
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that whole thing happened, and eventually, I don't know what happened, but they left, or she left. And at night, she was like thinking, she's like, this is really crazy that I'm talking about this right now, because we were just talking about this. She started thinking, wow, could that have been Jesus and I didn't help her? Could that have been an angel and I didn't help her?
Wow.
And she was like thinking about that in her mind. She's like, wow, she started feeling like, kind of bad, obviously, right? So she went to sleep, and in her dream, she saw herself interceding and praying. And she started praying, and she was like praying and interceding in the dream. Out of nowhere, there appeared next to her the lady that had been at the store earlier.
Oh, wow.
And she appeared, and she told her in the dream, she said, "That's witchcraft. We've been praying against you."
Oh my God. Wow.
So the lady that she physically saw in the store appeared in her dream.
Oof. Wow.
So this isn't to scare anyone, but this is a reality. We are spiritual beings, and this is real stuff that happens.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's deep.
All right, so this is a supernatural story that I have. we went into a whole other thing, but I mean, all right. So in order to tell you these supernatural stories about, I want to give like a short little foundation of it. Cain killed his brother Abel. What happened when Cain killed his brother? The earth responded to his killing. And this is the way that the earth responded. Genesis 4:12. It says, "When you try to cultivate the ground, it will no longer yield its best for you." So the earth decided, because he murdered someone, the earth was no longer going to give him anything. In other words, what his sin caused the earth to no longer want to bless him. So our actions and what we do determine how the earth will manifest towards us. So because of sin, the earth had been placed under a curse. But right now we're living in a generation that's unfolding the reality of what Jesus did on the cross. And therefore there's a restoration of the earth that's coming. It says in Romans 8:19-22, it says this: "For all of creation is waiting, yearning for the time when the children of God will be revealed." You see, all of creation has collapsed into emptiness, not by its own choosing, but by God's. Still, he placed within it a deep and abiding hope that creation would one day be liberated from its slavery to corruption and experience the glorious freedom of the children of God. For we know that all creation groans in unison with burning pains up until now. So the earth is longing for us to be revealed so that the earth can bless us. And we see a glimpse of this reality in the Old Testament. In 1 Kings 17:6, it says that that the ravens came and fed Elijah.
Oh, yes.
And then we see in Numbers chapter 20 verse 11 where Moses hit the rock and water bursted out. In other words, we were called to govern the earth and the earth respond to us. So these are the stories. I have two stories of supernatural stories. And one of it was St. Anthony. I think we talked about him either last time or the time before that, where it says that St. Anthony, he was preaching in a city called Rimini. They were a stubborn and difficult group of people. After many days of hard preaching, they still wouldn't listen. So he preached many days and they wouldn't respond. Therefore, one day, by divine inspiration, St. Anthony went to the bank of the river. Standing on the shore between the sea and the river, he began to speak to the fishes, as though he was a preacher sent to them. Hear the word of God, you fishes of the sea and of the river, since the infidel heretics refused to hear it. When he had said this, there came to him on the riverbank so vast a multitude of fishes, all of them held their heads out of the water and gazed attentively on the face of St. Anthony, remaining there in great peace and gentleness of order. The longer St. Anthony preached, the more the multitude of fish increased. When the people of the city saw this, they began to run to there to see this marvelous and clear miracle. They were pricked in their hearts.
Wow.
And all cast themselves at the feet of St. Anthony to hear his words. And they all gave their lives to God after seeing that miracle. But you see the governing over creation.
Wow.
So he said, these people don't want to listen. Let me start preaching to the fish. And what did Jesus himself say? He said, go to all creation.
Ooh. Wow.
Go to all creation and preach.
Wow, that's crazy.
Is it possible that animals could also be saved? Here's another one. St. Cuthbert was in a very remote place, journeying to reach isolated people with the gospel. His young disciple was with him, and he was miserable and due to hunger. So he had a disciple there. He was a young guy. He was like tired. He was hungry. So Cuthbert told him to cheer up and have faith. The Lord will provide for us today, as he always does. He then pointed to an eagle flying high overhead. See the bird flying high above us? It is possible for God to refresh us by ministrations of the eagle. The young man was not sure what Cuthbert was suggesting, but as they traveled further along the river, they saw the eagle settled on the bank with a fish in its claws.
What the heck?
Cuthbert said, run and see what food the eagle has brought us from the Lord. This the young man did, bringing back a large fish that the eagle had taken from the river. But Cuthbert said, what have you done, my son? Why have you not given our handmaiden her share? Quick, cut it in half and take her the share which she deserves for ministering to us.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow.
So he got the fish, gave it to him, and he's like, what are you doing? Cut half of it and go and give it back to her, half of it, so he can only have half of it.
Ooh, that's crazy.
So supernatural miracles like that will also abound in these days.
Even the animals. All the Bible says that in the book of Genesis that he gave dominion to man over the birds, the beast, and the sea. In all three realms.
Right.
So it's crazy how that's crazy. The fishes were listening to the gospel.
Wow. And God also called the animals to go into the Ark of Noah. Yep. He told them all to go, and they all went. So if animals are waiting, I guess, to hear the gospel as well. Yeah. They have this. I don't know if you ever. I think it's a movie. All Dogs Go to Heaven. Oh yeah. I'm about to. If I go evangelize and people reject me, I'm gonna go preach to the animals. Hey, you know what? Even the rocks will preach if you don't preach as us. Oh yeah. Oh wow. That's why maybe all creation is alive. And God is everywhere. That's crazy. Wow. Whenever I get hungry, I'm gonna have to use my faith to. Oh, I believe that maybe in the future all of us will become vegetarians. Because if the animals start talking and they start converting and all that, you're not gonna want to eat no animal. So imagine the animals converting. Wow. But I believe in Genesis they actually believe that animals obviously could talk because the serpent came and talked to them. It wasn't abnormal. It wasn't like that's weird, a serpent talking. No, it was like normal. Wow. But it's crazy the creation longs and waits for us to be revealed. Wow. And creation doesn't just mean the earth, by the way. Oh, come on. It's all creation. Yeah. Everything that God has created. So even the galaxies, space, the universe, Mars is waiting for us to go there.
That's crazy.
Well, I think it was a couple of years ago. They went to Mars and they found no life there. They sent like, I think like they sent something of the Earth over there, and the DNA that had touched the things that they sent, that like rubbed off on Mars, where a couple of years afterwards, when they went back to see what was going on, they actually started finding living bacteria.
Wow.
When they first got there, there was no life. When they got there, the Earth started, or Mars started responding to the fact that there was a child of God DNA had landed on the planet.
That's crazy. Yeah, I did.
Even on Earth, that happens.
Yeah, I did hear something about that.
Yeah, even on Earth, that happens, where you go to an isolated place, where there's abandoned place, it's all barren, nothing. But when village and people start living there, the Earth begins to sprout and give fruit. Why? Because we appeared.
Wow.
Thank you so much for taking time to watch this clip of one of our podcast episodes. To catch the full audio version of this episode, click the link in the description box below. And if you like these clip formats and you want to see more, please subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell icon to be notified whenever we release new episodes. Comment down below what your thoughts are of this episode. And hey, while you're here, go ahead, go and check out another video. Always remember, the portal is open.